Hi, and welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Stuart Burgess, and joining me as ever on this week's podcast is my co-host, Simon
Good
Gregory.
evening, Stuart.
How are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Hot and then cold, and then the weather's been up and down, and yeah, it's been a bit crazy, but looking forward to Easter.
Yeah, it's a bit funny. I was driving back today, and it's like beautiful sunshine. The windows are down in the car, and then I was talking to Ian Morris of Together Cinema, who was telling me that apparently at the moment there's 8 inches of snow out in his apartment out in the French Alps.
Wow.
So it's heavy snow over there, beautiful sunshine here, but looking out the window here because we're recording a little bit more early, is already some rain clouds rolling in.
Rain clouds are coming in, but it's not as dark as it was, which is the main thing. But and Stuart, you've got some breaking news for us, I hear.
Yeah, well, hopefully this podcast is planned to go out on the 7th, on Tuesday the 7th, I think it is, of April. So today the press release should go out to say that I am joining the team at InsideCI as the owner-director of InsideCI, which is a trade publication, along with David Slater, who's the founder, and tech journalist legend Steve May, who is the editor for the platform.
There is only one, Mr. Steve May. He is a legend and a top guy all round. But so the background behind InsideCI, it started with the SVI magazine, if I can remember, all those years ago with Bonnie and Chantel. Hello, if you're watching or listening. But so that was part of that magazine. Is that correct?
Yeah. So originally, when David started it, this was around about 2012, maybe a little bit sooner. He approached SVI about doing a column, InsideCI, the integrators' view of the industry. So he wrote a column for several years for the magazine. And then he got together with Steve May to produce what is the InsideCI.co.uk website, which has been a hub for news, reviews, weekly newsletters. And that's been running really since, about the last 14 years that's been running. And actually, it's spookily similar to what we've been doing with HCA and what we've been doing, especially with HCA Tech Talk. So especially like if anybody's watched the videos we did at ISE recently, David was almost like the OG of doing that. He was doing that in like 2012, 2013, going around talking to manufacturers and distributors. So the sort of like, I hate the word, but the synergy between the two platforms meant that David reached out to me. Funny enough, when we were in Barcelona, when you were getting your ears bled by the Void speakers, I was having a sit-down chat on the CD stand with David about, taking over the platform or getting involved with the platform and leading it on for the next generation, really.
The amount of top secret stuff that happens at ISE is unparalleled. I think like everybody comes back a few months later, things start trickling out in the industry, and this company's doing these speakers, and that company's doing another pair of speakers, and you're now joining as part of the InsideCI. But again, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's a very good synergy from what we do here and the HCA Tech Talk and that kind of stuff with InsideCI. So basically, you're still going to get the monthly email come through your inbox with all the latest and greatest. Is that right?
Weekly.
Weekly.
So it goes out every Monday morning. So Steve is going to still be the editor. He will still be fundamentally in charge of the editorial side of the website. So it is a publication which has a industry-renowned journalist behind it. I'll be in charge of the running of the business, the advertising. I want to try and bring in more of what we've been doing with the HCA. So a lot more videos, a lot more unboxings. You obviously, this podcast, I think we are gonna relabel it as the InsideCI podcast, because I think it is very relevant to the integrators in the industry as well as the consumers.
Definitely.
So we'll still have both platforms. Well, actually, technically, we'll still have the three platforms. We'll still have Home Cinema Alliances, the members like yourself, and New Wave and Cyber Homes and Cinema Rooms, who are all high-end integrators in the UK, build cinemas. Then the HCA Tech Talk will be the consumer-facing side of the business. But one thing that I always kept on being mentioned to me by friends in our industry was like, it's great, but what we really want is the business-to-business side of the HCA. And then David got in touch with me as if it was a divine intervention. And so technically now we have a business-to-business side of the business, we have a business-to-consumer side of the business, and obviously we have the membership side of the business as well. So we will, but that hopefully will mean that we might get some more, exclusive hands-on like we did with Sonos. We hopefully get some more unboxings and sit-down talks like we did with Monitor Audio the other week. So exciting times ahead.
Yeah, no, definitely. You've almost got too much time on your hand, Stuart. But I'm looking forward to the box unopenings, because I do like those, and when you watch them online, you like, and obviously we do it day in day out, but watching things being unboxed on YouTube is pretty cool, and even I like them. So hopefully see more of those.
Well, I say I still try to get the studio. I always say finished, but I haven't really done anything.
You don't
with it
started.
For a good 6 months, no. Sorry, I have started it. I just need to get time to finish it. Time is the one thing I don't have.
Well, not anymore. Not anymore. Not with InsideCI and everything else that you're doing. But yeah. So no more installs, or are you retiring from that, or not quite yet?
I think to quote Chris Williamson, the podcaster, he always says, to pick up something new, you've got to let something go. And I think that I'm not going to let go, but I'm going to sort of like sidestep from the integration a little bit. I still look after my customers. Immersive cinema rooms will still be something. I just might be a little bit more like you and be very hands off and get other people to do the work for me.
Best ways. Your knees will thank you for it, and yeah, we're definitely getting too old for that. So,
well, and in fairness, that's you hit the nail on the head there. I am having issues with the old knees. You literally yesterday as we record, I was over at the local hospital having a scan on both knees. So I know I'm going to need to have knee replacements at some point, and that puts you out for 6 weeks. You don't do both at the same time. So in the period of the next 5 years, I'm going to have sort of like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 months where I'm not going to be able to do anything. So anybody who works for themselves, who's listening to this, knows that 2 or 3 months without work, or 3 or 4 months without working, it means you ain't getting any money.
No, definitely not. Well, I say InsideCI weekly newsletter will definitely keep you busy. So exciting stuff.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting chapter going forward, and not much to change from the podcast. It's still going to be us talking. It's still going to be us sitting down with people. We've got some interviews coming up with Meridian and CAVD, and then we've got a few more planned for this year. So hopefully this will just open our doors to many, many more people that want to come on and chat to us two people about their latest tech and their latest showrooms.
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously it's pretty tough out there at the moment, and there's lots of news going on and what's going on in the industry, but I think we should all got to just stay positive and keep going. And I say a lot of speaker manufacturers are joining other distributors and stuff like that, which I think we're going to talk about in a short while. And others are launching new showrooms, which is very exciting. Yeah. Which is what you and I did last week.
We had the opening, and the podcast has gone live. I got to remember the other way. So the Monitor Audio podcast went up first, and then our podcast went up the other day as we're recording this. So, we'll get on to the Monitor Audio in the news, in my section of the news. Before we jump into the news, please can you comment, review, or subscribe to this podcast or video podcast or vodcast, as I think the kids call it, on any of the platforms that you're currently listening or watching on. It helps a lot and puts the podcast in front of many, many more people, so we can get better hosts on and we can have better conversations. So looking at the first news section, Simon, you are doing a bit of a comparison between RGB and OLED RGB.
Yeah, I saw this the other day. It was quite exciting. And obviously you have the backlight of a TV, LCD, or whatever you want to use. And obviously there's only so much that backlight can do. Obviously OLED is the go-to TV platform, which we all know and love, but obviously price does come into that. So what I did see was LG are doing an RGB backlight, which does give you a really high efficiency, brighter and more vibrant colours. Not as good as OLED, let me just make that clear, but it is a good alternative. And one thing the RGB doesn't do is it's not consistent. So the example I saw, I think it was Digital Trends on YouTube. They did a little dot that went from left to right over the colours, and instead of staying white, it changed colour as it went through the different colour spectrum. On an OLED, that just stayed white all the way across. So I quite liked the fact that they are trying to do something a bit different rather than a white backlight on a LCD TV, but having it as an RGB. We all know back from our days in CRT TVs and plasmas and that kind of stuff, RGB was always the one that you would use if you could, and especially putting in a games console and stuff like that, and or even SCART. Did SCART use RGB? I think it did, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, yeah. Because with what I always loved about the SCART lead was that it, to really annoy your mum and dad, you used to go down behind the back of the TV and just pull it out slightly so it was black and white. And then your dad would stand there for half an hour going, "Why is this in black and white? Why is it not colour? I can't see what balls are on the snooker table."
The amount of pins that SCART had, I can't remember. Was it 24? But it didn't.
24, yeah,
it
21, 24,
it didn't take
yeah.
much to just a little bit of tweak. Or you didn't get any audio, did you? Like just push it in roughly, and away you go. So yeah, a bit of a brief news on that, but yeah, LG are trying to do something different. But I say OLED is the one you should be going for, but at least they're trying to bring something that's better to the mass market.
Did they say whether that's for a price point or is it just?
I think so. Yeah, just new technology and a price point. So you're getting the brightness. Obviously, OLEDs are a lot brighter as well nowadays, but say getting the better color and efficiency is what they're trying to aim towards. So yeah, no, exciting stuff. And the next story, Stuart, is about monitor audio. So back over to you.
Yeah, so as you alluded to just a minute ago, we were at Monitor Audio's launch of their new showroom the other week, and the podcast is up live on the InsideCI YouTube channel as well as the HEA YouTube channel. But I also just wanted to touch on, because they've now officially launched the Elevate Sound Performance Academy. So taking a brief write-up from, funnily enough, from Steve May on InsideCI.
Hey, click on the link below.
Yeah, I know him. So alongside the Experience Centre opening, Monitor Audio Group has introduced the Elevate Sound Performance Academy, a training and development platform aimed at integrators, retailers and system specifiers. The initiative provides a structured program designed to help partners expand their technical knowledge, improve system design expertise, and deliver installations that fully realise the potential of the company's products. Michael Johnson said the program is part of a bolder commitment to our trade partners. The Academy is built around 3 core areas: training, design, and technical support. So I know I'm going to try and get up to there at some point and see them. But where, if you watched the podcast from the other week, where everybody was standing out in the foyer, they since have had their first sort of hands-on training where they bring in the desk and they sit down and talk about, you know, the products, the brands, and, you know, fundamentally help integrators design better hi-fi and cinemas.
Yeah, they had their first launch this week, didn't they? So that area you spoke about, they've got the big screen TV in there, and they've got all the desks out and the seats and the chairs, and yeah, just trying to promote their academy, which I think is a great idea. And as I said earlier, times are tough out there, but they're trying something different, trying to almost upping their ante and upping the levels of that they're capable of, and really going for it. So but yeah, no, great facilities. I said earlier in the podcast, James Brown and the team there have done a great job, and I'm really happy for Monitor Audio, based in Rayleigh in Essex. So if you want to come down, either speak to myself or contact Monitor Audio, and yeah, go and see what they can do. It's really good.
Well, I think it's just like, so I know both me and you have utilised other manufacturers' design services and specification designs, and I think that it's now becoming a bit more normal to, you know, have a helping hand, for want of a better word, from, because at the end of the day, the people, as we found when we were talking to, you know, Michael Hedges and the guys at Monitor Audio, you know, the amount of R&D and testing they do with their speakers means that they understand their brand way better than we ever could, unless we, you know, went and worked there for maybe 6 months or something like that. So to be able to look at the Monitor Audio brand and then say, look, I've got this cinema room, I need your help with it. And they can say, well, look, come on the training. We can take you through the range. We can show you what the good case scenario is for each individual speaker. And they can help you then get the knowledge and hold your hand go forward, whether you're new to home cinema and, you're not up to the standards, or not standards, but you're up to the industry standards of RP22. They can sort of like hold your hand and point you in the right direction. But also, as I found it for many years, I have just focused on cinema. And Monitor Audio, like many other companies, they also are a hi-fi brand. So to have the ability to say, look, I've done this £100,000 cinema for this guy 6 months ago using Monitor Audio, and he's now told me what's a really nice set of hi-fi speakers. Help! I don't really know hi-fi speakers. What should I recommend?
No, I was just about to say that out of everything that we saw at the Performance Centre was their awesome hi-fi speakers, and actually wanted me to make me sell more hi-fi speakers, because I started in 1998, so I always loved vinyl, and obviously CD was just coming to fruition. But having a sound coming from a dedicated hi-fi speaker, especially the ones there, what they're called again, the
Hyperion.
Beautiful looking speakers, really unique as well, but sounding absolutely amazing. I think they're coming in at about £75,000-£75,000, but they did sound beautiful, and it did really make me want to think about selling more hi-fi speakers. If you've got a dedicated room for that, then have a look at some decent hi-fi speakers and add that to your portfolio. But yeah, that was really good. And talking to the Michaels, you got the podcast out really early, which is really good, and sitting and chatting to them and their enthusiasm and their family vibe. I really like that, and like what they were trying to achieve. So and I think they've done it.
Yeah, I mean, on the hi-fi subject, I've got a couple of clients out there who have got, £30,000 plus hi-fi systems, and I quite enjoy going back there and doing my yearly service call, because I will go up and do my stuff in the cinema on the Control 4 system and do my programming and my software updates. But funnily enough, when it comes to doing the 2-channel hi-fi, it always takes me a little bit longer, because I just end up sitting there playing music and listening to music. And whenever I come back from doing a hi-fi system, I always turn around to my wife and say, we need to move. I need a bigger house, because I think I don't appreciate it, but when you listen to audio on a proper set of hi-fi speakers, it's just
It is
amazing.
amazing. So when we did went to see Steinway and Lindorf, they're £250,000 speakers. Just you don't get to hear speakers like that every day, and they sound phenomenal. And I was talking to a client, and he was like, "I really like hi-fi." And I was like, "Well, maybe come over to have a listen." So really good. So have a listen to any hi-fi speaker when you can.
Yeah, excellent. So right, the next news story is going over to our friends at givingback.tech, which they've launched a new website to repurpose AV equipment for UK charities.
Yeah, so obviously Ian and the team at Together for Cinema have launched this, and I think it's a superb idea. I mean, I don't know about you, but we've got a few things lying around that we don't really need, but it's just sitting there. I've got some Keffin ceiling speakers that have been in the van for quite a while. Do I need them? Do I not need them? And Stuart's asked a lot of the installers to sign up for the website, and if they've got anything, then please donate. I think is you put down on the website what actually you've got. You handle all the shipping to whoever it's going to go to, but I think it's just a good way to get rid of excessive stock and not waste and sit there. I mean, I've got a power amplifier it's very heavy and I can barely pick it up, so I'm 50-50 whether to send it off into the world of the home cinema. But it's a great way to get rid of old tech that you don't need anymore, and yeah, it's a great setup from Ian and the team there.
Yeah, so just looking at the Hidden Wires website this was on, I mean, we've been talking about the HCA members were trying it before it was officially, released. But yeah, it's as it says here, a new platform for companies to donate surplus technology to community projects has launched in the UK. givingback.tech, which is the website address, has been founded by Ian Morris to help charities and community interest companies access professional AV equipment without impacting limited budgets. The scheme enables manufacturers, distributors, integrators, consultants to list unwanted second-hand, discontinued or B-stock equipment that can be repurposed for community use. Smart home and control manufacturer Crestron has joined the initiative as the first founding partner. Basically, yeah, it's without saying it's an eBay or it's an Etsy. It fundamentally is. So Ian doesn't have really anything to do with the handling. So if I know, let's say for example, I've been trying to flog one of my clients a new projector, get it to replace his 7-year-old Sony projector, which he paid 25 grand for, and he's slightly reluctant to spend 25 grand on another one. But hey ho, but that projector has still got some life in it. So I mean, it's a laser projector. So the idea being is that we can take it out, and if the client is of the fact that doesn't want to sell it, or he would rather want to pass it on to a charity, which obviously a lot of people will, I can then register at givingback.tech. I can then clean it up, take some photographs of it and list it, and then basically any of the charities out there, and these are not the charities that we're doing cinemas for the sort of like for the main charity, but these are like any registered charity can look at it and go, oh, do you know what, we need to replace the projector because our projector's got 40, so they can get in contact with you, you package it up and you send it to them, and then they install it.
Yeah, so you got 800 charities, so 800 charities can easily look on that website and think, oh, I'll need a pair of speakers, or it could be anything really. So an old TV. I mean, I used to have loads of old TVs lying around here, and you think, and actually Ian did take one. He come and picked it up in his car and put it in his back seat and drove it down to the charity. It was an old Samsung LCD TV, which I've had for years, but it was superb. The picture was great. It still worked perfectly well. And little things like that. It doesn't have to be a big 65-inch TV or something like a little 32-inch TV will do the job. But so you just have to handle the postage. So there is that to consider. But they're definitely worthwhile calls, 100%.
100%. I mean, upcycling, there's so much stuff I know over the last 20 years I've ended up just not throwing away, but so either taking it to charity shop. And the problem is, I remember when we were doing the cathode ray tube, upgrade, when we were doing stuff with Sony, and we were put that you could trade in your old TV. And I remember taking the cathode ray tubes to it's British Art Foundation, and they were like, we can't touch them. There's nothing we can do with them, because by the time we pay to have it electrically tested and all of that lot, the money we would get back mean that we would lose. So we were throwing away. I mean, God, I was probably throwing away 50 to 100 cathode ray tube TVs every month.
Sinful, really. We look back at that kind of thing, you're like, how was that even allowed? It's pretty shocking, to be fair.
So the next story for me is another British brand, Node Audio, Wales, with high-end Atom loudspeaker range. British company called Node Audio is looking to carve itself a significant slice of the crowded high-end loudspeaker market with the launch of the Atom range, comprising of the Atom 525 stand mount and Atom 650 floor stander. Production models of the new coming speakers made their public debut at the Audio Show Deluxe 2026, held at Whistlebreed Park, and the range is available to order now, with the company signalling an expansion of its distributor network. Central to the design of the Atom is a sculptured cabinet formed that avoids flat panels and sharp edges, with the aim of reducing deflection and maintaining audio image. The retail price for the Atom 525 stand mount loudspeaker starts at 15,800, while the 650 floor stander is priced at just under 21,000. I mean, they are stunning looking speakers.
They are quite sexy. They do look very nice indeed. So, but they should be for 20,000 or nearly £21,000. But it's very very nice indeed. But no, it's good to see British-based companies doing these things, and obviously that's where it shows you hi-fi is back, baby.
Yeah, I mean the full article, surprise surprise, is on the InsideCI website and written by Steve May. But
there's a theme. There's a theme here.
There's a theme going. I'm not just going to self-publicise the new platform I'm involved in every week. I will
No,
spread the
you said
love
Hidden Wires
around
earlier,
all
so
of
that's
our
fine. We
friends.
love the guys at Hidden Wires.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I will promote Essential Install. I will promote Hidden Wires, and I will just as much as I will promote InsideCI if there's news or stories that are relevant to the people who will be watching or listening to this. So yeah, I agree. I mean, there are some brilliant. I mean, we were up at who was it? TPI, wasn't it? We were up at TPI just after Christmas
Yep.
with Barry from
Yep, in
Meridian.
Leicester. Very good
Again,
speakers.
yeah. Yeah, you nearly got a nosebleed going that far
I
north.
did.
But
True story.
yeah, I mean, again, another British based speaker company that, a brand that was created out of a passion, out of like, oh, what if we can create a speaker like this and a system like that? And I think there are some very small, unsung, maybe not known of brands, British-made brands in this country, which, especially with what's going on in the world at the moment, as you alluded to in the monitor audio, it's like if it's built in Britain and it's distributed in Britain, then, hopefully we're not going to get tied up in any tariffs or shipping costs and things like
Yeah,
that.
100%. As say that, I think you quite rightly said they are unsung heroes. And when I started in the industry in 1998, we went to go and see Leon and Name Audio and Kef and all these people. But you see behind the curtain, which is really like, it's always nice going to looking at a magazine or looking on InsideCI website and that kind of thing. But actually going to see where they're actually built, talking to the people who've designed them and built them, and then you see the amount of effort that goes into these products. You think, wow, actually there's a lot of care and attention, and that to me makes you want to buy them even more. So I've just read that they actually come in leather as well, these speakers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, I've got
7 leather options.
Cabinets can be finished in either multi-layer acoustic fabric or a selection of 7 leather options, paired with precision machined aluminium structural components.
Aluminium, unless you're in America, and it's called
aluminum.
Fantastic, I love it.
But no, I mean it's I mean I remember taking a customer down to Kef in Maidstone, and he stood in front of the. Well, I actually took him to the factory in Maidstone, and then a few months later, or about 6 months later, I took him to the Kef Gallery in London, and he's the same age as me, so he's 50 now. And I swear he was standing in front of those set of mirrors like it was my daughter standing in front of Taylor Swift. He was like pointing, saying, "Can you take a selfie? Can you take a selfie?" But there are some really good brands, and and any integrator or consumer watching this, reach out to a manufacturer or just distributor of British-made stuff, or if you're a consumer, reach out to a HCA member, because there are some really good stuff that, because it doesn't sit on the shelf in some of the high street stores, you just don't know nothing about it. And I think there's some really good brands that we should support more.
Yeah, 100%. And say anybody wants to come down and have a listen to any of those, then just let us know and we can arrange that for you.
I actually, yes, you said that. I had a comment. I don't know if I told you.
You did. I saw.
I had a comment on the YouTube channel. Yeah, someone who is a monitor audio fan, and I don't think he was very far from there. So I said, oh, well, just reach out to Simon, who was the person doing the podcast, and he can take you down there and have a little tour around.
Yeah, I think with monitor audio's heritage, that a lot of people have got monitor audio speakers, and monitor audio never actually had that facility for people to go to. But now that's there for everybody to enjoy and experience. Then come on down.
Well, I think that's one thing that I want to do, or it'll probably involve us doing, because I'll be the cameraman and you'll be the presenter.
And a good cameraman you are too, Stuart.
But what I want to do is some actual factory tours. So, maybe we do some factory tours around monitor audio, around Kef, around, HD Anywhere, places like that, where, TPI again, when you were downstairs in that beautiful warehouse.
When it's a bit warmer though, Stuart, because last time we went there, it's freezing cold. They had this massive wood furnace trying to keep us warm. So it was very,
you were like a cat. You were like a cat in front of the fire.
I couldn't get any closer. I would have started melting.
Yeah, if you could curl up with a mug of coffee, you would have done so.
Definitely so. But yeah, no, those kind of things. Again, people don't really see that and don't see what's behind the scenes. And I think that's really, really fundamentally important in any of the products that is sold out there. So yeah.
So talking about being behind the scenes, we've actually been quite busy since we last podded. So we've had quite well. Yeah, I've had quite a few events. You came to one of the events at Pulse, funny enough, in Essex, and that was the Pulse Cinemas in Stansted. So do you want to tell us a bit about that day?
Yeah, so it's a really good day actually. It started off with some news about Kaleidoscape and what they were going to tell us, and then it just spiraled into a relaunch of Pulse, I suppose. I think that they said that themselves, that they've sort of been a little bit quiet recently, and obviously the takeover from Midwich and that kind of thing. So they had some news from Kaleidoscape. Obviously they've got the new mag speakers there in the smaller room, and then in the bigger room they got the Alcon speakers. So a little things have been done into the larger room. If you've been, you know what it sounds like and how big it is and how beautiful it looks. But they've just taken, it's not as dead sounding, so I think they had a bit too much acoustic treatment in there and things. So you've still got the excellent waveforming going on, and you've got the Alcons. But in the smaller room where they did have Krix speakers, they've now got the mag speakers, which personally I hadn't heard of. So they're more sort of in line with pro stuff, and they're actually in a lot of cinemas. Probably you've heard them already and haven't realised it, but they sounded really, really good. The subs were really impressive. It's a nice, clean, open sound as well, which I personally quite like. So it was a really good day. And then Kaleidoscape, I said earlier, have announced a number of things. I mean, you know a bit more about Kaleidoscape than I do, but I think it's out there now, or maybe when this podcast comes out. But they've signed the dotted line on Disney being available on Kaleidoscape.
Yeah, I just be honest, we having this conversation on the grid, but I didn't hear that, so I was also doing something else.
It's not what you know, it's who you know and who you ask at the right time. So I did grab the representative from Kaleidoscape, and yeah, we had about half an hour chat, which wasn't planned, but yeah, he told me all the ins and outs. And the Premier range, they've got the final components for that, but they will be coming. Their lifespan is coming to an end on the Premier range that they do as well. So that's also a bit of news there for you.
Yeah, well, I suppose, you know, with the mag speakers, you know, looking at their website here, I suppose it's almost going back to what we said we said in this podcast before. I mean, the last episode we were talking about JBL synthesis, and then obviously we've also previously talked about the Barco or HDR by Barco, where, you know, a lot of this stuff that I think as a consumer watching this, and maybe as an integrator watching this, you've never heard of the brand, but you've probably actually sat in and listened to it before. I mean, I was really pleasantly surprised. I mean, what I love, I love Pulse, and, you know, ever since, you know, the days of Mike and Kate's with Simon and with Simon and Charlie, you know, and Gibbo and that, it's always been one of those, you know, really nice places that you can get a good range of cinema. I mean, the room upstairs, the Paradigm Anthem room, is the one reason that Simon, who works with me, put that in his cinema in his house, which is our sort of showroom in Leatherhead. But I was pleasantly surprised because that little room has been through so many changes and had a sim racer in it at some point. But actually, to sit in there and watch, I think it was opening scene to, I can't remember the film now, but I've not seen that film before, so I wasn't expecting the crashes and the bangs. So it actually, because of the dynamic range, it actually made me jump because I wasn't expecting it. And for what was it? It's not even a 3 meter wide room, is it? It's about 2.5 meter wide by about 5 meters, 4.5, 5 meters long. But it was a fantastic little room, a great example of a little cinema that could be put in a double garage.
Yeah, that's the way they sold it, really. It's their garage room. So as you quite rightly said, they used to have a racing simulator in there. They had red leather sofa seats, which wasn't particularly good. I think I've actually got a little bit of a card there, so you can see the range. That's what it did look like with the red seats there. But no, I mean, are you saying you jumped out your skin of one of the demo scenes that they showed? That is a good sign of a good system. And to be honest, they only just got those speakers in. I think they got them in sort of a couple of days before, set them all up, did a quick calibration. without too much else, to be honest. And yeah, no, it sounded pretty impressive. So again, go down and see the boys at Poles. If you want to come down, contact one of the HCA members as well, and I'm sure they can arrange for you to go and see their new speakers and facilities they got down there. But yeah, no, it's a really good day. Some good food as well. They've got a little street food vendor in. I'm going to call them that because burger van doesn't do it justice. But yeah, we had halloumi fries, burgers, and yeah, it's very nice. So probably making everybody feel a bit hungry now.
Who seems to have the first burger of the day by any chance?
It wasn't me. I saw somebody else. I saw somebody else have them, and I was like, "Yes, I'm going in. I'm very hungry." That was predominantly to stop me having too many halloumi fries. To be fair.
Right. Okay. Fill up on the burger.
Yeah, but no, but it's a really good day.
So talking about Krix, obviously, anybody who's listened to this is in this industry knows that brands move around this industry from pillar to post all the time. So it's not unusual to see a brand go from one company to the other company, and that's nothing to do with the brand, that's nothing to do with the company who's distributing. Just it may well be that they've had their time with that company and they now want to move to a fresh company, or the company has now decided that they want to move on to another brand. So the awesome Krix speakers, the Australian-made Krix speakers, have now gone over to Jamie at CAVD distribution based in Marlow. We have a podcast coming up with them. It might be, probably the one after this, I think, but they've now taken on distribution of Krix along with Leon and Origin Acoustics and some other brands like JVC that they have there. So but no, I was down there the other day. They're going to get the system fitted into the cinema that we went down to recently and looked at the other brand that they used to do there. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a good fit. I think Krix will fit really nicely with CAVD. Of course, Mel used to sell it at the other distributor, and she's selling it with Jamie now.
Yeah, I spoke to Mel the other day. Actually, I gave her a call and said congratulations on taking on the Krix brand. But as you said, she has sold it before, so she knows it pretty well, the ins and outs of what can be achieved with Krix, and it's a great solution. So if you've got a screen, have a back box, as it were, so where the speakers can go, push the speakers in and the subs, and away you go. You've got yourself a decent system. So it's a really easy to install kind of system, and they do the different size speakers, the different size rooms as well. And I think CAVD are nice. Again, we're talking about Monterey, a nice sort of small family-run business, and obviously everybody knows Mel, and she's great. And but they really look after you. So the aftercare sales service and anything you need from those guys, they really look after you and help you out. So no, it'd be exciting times for Krix and CAVD.
Yeah, well, we're doing the Krix cinema at the moment in Beckenham. I mean, we did one in Brighton, so we're doing the one in Beckenham, but that has got, I think it's the MX30, which is a predefined baffle basically. So I've created a letterbox in the wall. By no means is it small. I'll put up a picture now of the room, the unfinished room as I'm doing it. But yeah, it basically fits in there. So it's the LCR, and then I think it's 2 or 4 subwoofers, I can't remember now, that are going in there. And then I've put the speakers up, 6 speakers around the room, which are towed into the seated position with the 4 Atmos in the ceiling, which again are angled in towards the seated position. So you can really sort of like angle the speakers to where they should be. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of stuff on YouTube. I mean, if you look at Tony at Building Montage on YouTube, he does a lot of stuff with Krix. He does a lot of tours around Krix's facility. So yeah, it's a good little brand, and I'm looking forward to switching on the Beckenham cinema. I mean, I'll go straight onto that now because I was going to touch on that. But yeah, I mean, we've been back there this week. The whole room's been tracked out, ready for Roddy's Cinema Build Systems fabric. I fitted the speakers yesterday, wired those all in, just covered them over so they don't get any dust on them. And then we're just going to fit the MX30s on Monday, I think, as we record this. And then, yeah, then it's test it and then fabric wrap the room, and then it'll all be ready to rock and roll and hand over to the customer, hopefully, probably before May.
Fantastic. So definitely test those speakers before you fabric wrap this room. So, yeah, no, looking forward to seeing that. And yeah, sounds an exciting little job.
Oh, you can't believe the conversations I've had with the client. No disrespect to the client, but it's like, can't you just start to fabric the room, then test the speakers? No. No, the fabric is is £100 per linear meter, and there's at least 2.5 linear meters per run over each speaker. So it's like I don't really want to have to take £200 or £250 worth of fabric off the wall because one of the speakers isn't working. So, you know, fabric is the very, very, very last thing we do. So let's test the speakers. Let's make sure that HDMIs are working. Let's make sure the speakers are working. Let's make sure everything's working. And then the carpet goes down, the fabric goes up, the screen goes up, and Bob's your uncle, the cinema's
You're
done.
such a tease, Stuart. But you can see it from the client's point of view. They're very excited to get this system up and running.
Oh, yeah.
They see the speakers there and the stuff. They want the fabric in. They just want to enjoy their room as soon as possible.
Yeah. So you had a photo shoot yesterday. Not you, thankfully, but you had a photo shoot
I
yesterday.
could have a photo shoot. What are you talking about? No.
You were the drone pilot, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. So Amina doing case studies with Matt from Amina, and obviously we saw those guys at ISE, and Redline were involved in helping us doing the Tudor building, which we actually won the Smart Home Award media room under £50,000. So Amina wanted to do a case study, which is a good idea, but obviously you can't see the speakers. So they're just trying to push what can be achieved with hidden speakers, which is great. So there's a great backstory. There's a Tudor building. We were there for quite a period of time. Heritage England was involved. Matt asked us to do a case study, and yeah, the client was happy to do that. So Matt came along, took loads of photos. We did some videos and things like that. And I got the drone out, I say, hence the weather conversation right at the beginning of this podcast. But yeah, 1 minute it was sunny, then it was raining, then it was windy, and then it was like, right, let's get this drone up. But to see the Tudor building and say the history behind it, and there was walls that were from an old church and things, so there's a lot of history there. But the house looked amazing. Inside you've got the beautiful media room with the speakers hidden behind hydrofugo MDF wood, and then in ceiling it's all lime and plastered as well, so in there because Heritage England wanted that, and that's how you did plastering back in the day. And then we've got a lovely kitchen and an orangery. So hopefully we can put the link on here for Amina. And yeah, no, it was a good photo shoot, and yeah, it was a good day had by all.
I mean, it looks stoned. I mean, seeing the bit what Matt was trying to do some recording outside and with the whole house behind him, it looked like a stunning building. So yeah, I mean, you sent me the YouTube link, so I'll put that in the description of this podcast. So yeah, go and have a look at it and see the amazing work Simon did. And you know, and actually, you know, what visible speakers are great for in respects of the, you know, enlisted Tudor buildings. I mean, we did a new build in Faversham. I think it was after COVID. I can't remember. Yeah, it was. We did one in Faversham, and that has 16 speakers in the lounge. But when you walked in there, that was Amina as well. But when you walked in there, all you saw was a 77-inch LG OLED and a tiny, tiny vent of like where the AF120 subwoofer at the time would have been in the wall. But the client loved bringing his friends in, sitting them on the sofa and saying, here, watch this. And then these friends would be like, oh, you're just going to show me something on your TV. And all of a sudden, this 16-channel cinema kicked in. And these friends were, what the hell? Where's that sound coming from?
It's a great way to do it, to be fair. And it just shows you what can be achieved, because you don't really know what in-scene speakers are capable of. So I first saw Amina speakers at Neo in Excel. They had a showroom there, and when I first saw it, and well, I didn't see it because I heard it, because yeah, no, it kind of blew my brain. I was like, well, sorry, where's this sound coming from? So yeah, well, they're behind. Actually, back then they had it wallpapered. So they had the wall, and obviously the speakers were behind the wall, but they had it wallpapered as well. So that actually did make the sound, you think, a bit muffled, but actually that did sound pretty good. But Redline have just actually done their demo facility. They've done that up, so they've got a new demo room, and you can do a comparison there. So you can do a comparison with the Amina speakers and the Sonance speakers, and obviously the Amina are plaster over, Sonance are plaster up to. So it depends on your installation and what you need to do in that installation, and then you just can compare. So I think we can do a podcast there and after Easter and things, and go and see the new showroom facility. But any help you need with Amina speakers, Redline will help you out and help you do they offer a white glove service as well, so they help you install the speakers, and they kind of helped us doing this Tudor building, because obviously we didn't want to get that wrong. So that was fundamentally very, very important. But yeah, no, it's really a really good little day, and the photo shoot and the video come out very well. As hopefully you'll click on the link and see.
Yeah, no, I will. I will basically put the link in the description, and then you can, yeah, basically go and have a look at that and see the amazing job that you did for this Tudor building. My last story is carried on my third day, I think it was. Yeah, my third day of tours in the same week. I had literally, like, I think I had Monday here, and then Tuesday at Pulse, Wednesday at AWE, Thursday at CAVD, and then Friday I was in London at the Kef Gallery. But
you had a busy week, to say the least. But and it's nice to do that, though, isn't it? Because then you can compare what you saw and what you heard. So I think that's actually a nice thing to do, because sometimes you've got kind of forget what you heard or what you saw, and then the fact you've done it pretty one after the other is probably quite nice.
Well, yeah, and I think it might be. I mean, I was literally talking to Steve this morning on email, and he was saying that he just got back from Munich last night, and he was back at Gatwick Airport this morning, waiting to go out to Paris for another event. So I've got a feeling that where my previous endeavours for the last 20 years is going to be, you know, building cinemas in the van, travelling to build cinemas, I think that my life going forward is going to be in the car or on the plane, going hopefully to shoot videos and podcasts with all these amazing people. But it was good, and of course you get to see lots of people of the industry. But yeah, I mean, I went to AWE because they had an Optoma event, the projection brand, or it wasn't just projectors they were showing us. They were showing us some big sort of professional displays, some interactive displays, and some LED displays. Because I think a lot of people don't realise a lot of the technology that Optoma made or patented that is used across so many different platforms. But the one that they showed us in the big room, in the big cinema at AWE, which if you've not been to AWE, they've got two cinemas there. They've got the big sort of, I think it's 8-seater cinema, and then they got a smaller sort of more, not small cinema, but more mainstream cinema. But they were showing us it's the UHZ78LV, and it's a bright 4K UHD RGB triple laser home projector powered by Dolby Vision and their Pure Engine Ultra technology. It's got Dolby Vision HDR10. They say it features a tripled laser which is capable of 98% DCP3, 96% BT2020, and oh my god, it was 5,000 lumens.
It's brighter than the sun, Stuart.
5,000 lumens for £6,000 retail.
That's a good price. So that's laser based as well, I would assume.
Yeah, so that's a laser based RGB, so triple laser technology. But it features IMAX enhanced modes. It had brilliant lens shift, so it didn't have lens memory, unfortunately.
Okay.
So if you are gonna do it's almost like the Sony 5000 or 5100, where you have. I mean, it's actually probably not better, but the Sony has a manual shift on it. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hand in the air, but the Sony had the manual shift on it. This has a lens shift on it, so it goes quite a lot left and right, up and down, so you can get exactly where you want.
But more for 16:9 screens and things like that, I would assume.
Yeah, so you could, if you have it on like scope all the time. So for instance, if you have it on the scope screen, so if you're watching a film, then it'll be in scope. If you have it on standard TV, then you'll lose the images of either side. But I think personally myself, I do more 16:9, traditional size screens where, the whole screen is your football or your EastEnders or your film. And then when you go and watch a cinematic movie, so in a 21:9 aspect ratio, a scope aspect, you have your black bar top and bottom, the same as you would on an OLED TV. But just the fact of it was, 5,000 lumens, where I think the entry level Sonys at about £4,000, I think, are about 2,000 to 2,500 lumens. So twice the lumen level for 6,000. Yes, there's certain things that it doesn't deliver over some of the other brands, but I think for just pure brightness, maybe in a not totally dark room, I mean, it was stunning. I mean, I was gobsmacked when they told me it was 6,000 retail.
For that price, I think, and that brightness, I mean, you are heading to all sort of Barco brightness, aren't you? I think it's,
Yeah.
Barco, the bigger ones are a bit brighter, but for that brightness, for that price is pretty good. But like you, I didn't realise Optima did so many different things. So I mean, from my personal background, I kind of started when I was in retail. Started getting in the different projectors, and they were very basic back then, and obviously more office based. I would have said like boardroom kind of thing. But I think they're becoming more and more readily available, and just obviously aiming towards the more InsideCI kind of home cinema installers. So yeah, really nice to see. And AWE obviously great guys, and yeah, again, go down and have a look at what they could be achieved. But they did like the displays as well, did they? They have like TVs or commercial stuff, or
It was more commercial, so they had some sort of interactive whiteboards, for want of a
for like
better way of
schools
doing
and
it.
things
But
like that. I've seen them in schools and multi-touch, like 10-point multi-touch.
yeah, for offices and things like that. But then they had some big sort of modular tile, TVs. I wouldn't, you wouldn't generally, I don't think, use it in the same way as you might use a Samsung or Sony, modular TV or an A-wall or something like that. But it was that sort of was more towards the, because as integrators, we sometimes get asked to do offices, commercial buildings. So that was very much for that side of the business. But that was really, really interesting, the way that you could actually program all the screens to work on one interface, so you could control what's being shown on what screen from a laptop. Going back to the projectors, I mean, they can't remember the model number now, but they had a little projector which I looked at it and thought, that's perfect for the little room like my lounge, where I've only got a like 3 meter or 3.5 meter flow ratio. And as soon as I put a Sony or an Epson or a JVC in, I've lost, a good 500 mil from where the back of the projector is against the wall to where the lens is. But this little thing was probably, I want to say like 10 inches. And I was chatting to them, and they're like, yeah, that would easily probably give you about 120, 130 inch 16:9 screen in that space, where, I've always had I've got a 77-inch TV, and I was thinking like, well, maybe I might have to reach out to Gavin or to Stuart and see if I can borrow one over Easter and see if I can get it working. But
I thought what you were going to say is have it out in the garden for the World Cup. that would be perfect. Like beam that up on the wall. I think we don't like doing it, but getting the old white sheets out and putting that up on there. But unfortunately, the World Cup for us is about 10 o'clock in the evening.
I mean, the one thing, just briefly to go back onto the main projector, was the quiet operation. I mean, when James was playing that at full tilt, so it wasn't in filmmaker mode, so it was a full tilt, full brightness. The fact of there was virtually no noise or indistinguishable noise coming out of it for something that was throwing out so much operation.
That's interesting, because normally it's about 19 dB, isn't it, for a projector? So I know you can put it on like lower mode or eco mode, but obviously you're not getting the brightness from that. But to have that brightness and it still be pretty quiet is pretty good.
Then you've got one last one, which is a Sony LED TV install that you've been doing.
Yeah, no, we just did we love Sony and we love the OLEDs that they do. So we got a client who had a system from us previously, actually. So we installed that in his house, and then he needed a new telly because his old telly was one of those old curved TVs, if you remember those.
Oh wow!
So it was pretty old. So the new Sony Bravia 8 was installed. But one thing I do want to say, there's a setting that they've just done on the Sony TVs, whether it's all of them, I'm not too sure, because I've only seen them on OLEDs, is it's got an Amazon Prime setting. So when they did Netflix, it's like as the director intended kind of thing. But the new setting that they've got for the Amazon Prime Video setting is awful. It's so dark, it's unbelievable. The client's like, I can't see anything. I'm like, well, I've just set this up to cinema mode and turned off everything that you can turn off or should turn off or on a TV when you install it and calibrate it. But you scroll down and it actually says Amazon Prime Video setting. I turned it back off and it all come to life, nice and vivid, how I intended it, rather than looking at the TV like you've got a pair of sunglasses on. So please turn that off. And why it's on there, I've no idea.
Well, you know why? Because by far Amazon Prime is the worst streaming platform out there. So apart from a few occasional gems like Fallout, you maybe don't want to watch what you're watching because there's not
It's
that
not
great
that great.
content
No,
on there, in my opinion.
in your professional opinion. But yeah, so if you're watching it and your TV looks very dark and you've got Sony, that is because that setting is on. So just go into your settings and have it on cinema or whatever, or custom if it's been calibrated, and yeah, turn that setting off, please.
If you're lucky enough to have an ISF day or night mode, or if you've got a filmmaker mode, then they're pretty good. They are almost calibrated mode, but yeah, a lot of that, yeah, for God's sake, go and turn it off vivid, because that's what a lot of TVs, including Samsung, come set in. Just go and have a play with it. Yes, it might look a little bit duller when you put it onto ISF bright mode or filmmaker mode, but it is showing you the content as the director intended. And yeah, I've not seen that, so I'll have to have a find of a modern Sony TV and have a look and see how amazing their Amazon Prime mode is.
Not.
Excellent. Well, that's it. That's it for today's pod, for the relaunched InsideCI pod. But if you want to keep up to date with us, you can go to InsideCI.com and .co.uk. The .com is a website that it will probably move to eventually, so .co.uk is where it mainly lives at the moment, but I will put a redirect for .com onto it. Obviously, a lot of this will also still go up on the HCA Tech Talk website, so especially if you're a consumer watching this, go to the HCA Tech Talk website, because there you'll find maybe links to products, links to integrators, where on the InsideCI it's more, you know, business to business. You can follow InsideCI at InsideCI_UK on Instagram and at InsideCI Mag on TikTok. Simon, where can people find you personally, yourself and your business?
So yeah, we're on all the socials, so Instagram and LinkedIn and things like that. But yeah, our website is www.cinema-rooms.co.uk. But like you and InsideCI, we will have cinemarooms.com, which should take you to our UK website. But yeah, have a look at that, and we're doing a lot more news on there as well now, and obviously on YouTube as well. So as long with the HCA website and YouTube channels, we've got a YouTube channel on YouTube as well. So yeah, have a look.
Yeah, do have a look at InsideCI on YouTube, because we are putting some of the old HCA stuff on there, but there's also quite a lot of videos that David did previously. I think the last ISE you did was 2023, so it was quite interesting going back and watching some of those videos.
Yeah, I did see some of those, some of the older products, and how much younger he looked. And didn't we all?
For me, you can find me personally on most social medias at Mr. Stuart Burgess, and as well as Home Cinema Alliance and HCA Tech Talk on Instagram. So you can also email us if you've got any feedback, or you want to get involved in this podcast. If you're an integrator, a brand or a distributor watching this, and you think you might be interested in doing some podcasts or some videos or some unboxings with us, you can reach out to hello@insideci.com. That's hello@insideci.com. And as I said before, if you're feeling generous, wherever you're watching or listening to this, please leave a review, a like, a thumbs up, a comment, whatever you do on that platform, because it really does help. So thank you very much for your time, Simon. We'll get another podcast up maybe in a couple of weeks, and in between we'll have a distributed podcast up as well.
Yeah, definitely. Have a great Easter, and don't eat too much chocolate.
No, excellent, buddy. Catch you later.
Take care. Cheers, guys.